One of the things that comes up quite a bit is
With who?
with the Russians.
Oh, okay.
Is when I talk about the Monroe Doctrine, and I talk about the Founding Fathers, and there seems to be a lot of interest by the Russians about the Founding Fathers because when you start looking at them, it paints a different picture of America than what we see now, the imperialistic monster that is America.
I disagree with you about imperialism, but anyway.
That's okay. You are young and naive.
I'm 9 months younger than you.
You still what I'm saying. And so, I've been getting a lot of emails and requests about like, hey, you should talk about the Founding Fathers, and you are like the most patriotic person I know.
That's true.
I mean, and that's saying something, because I'm wearing like Captain America t-shirt.
Yeah, but I have this.
Yes, you do. You have that. You have an American flag purse that's been crocheted by the
I have an
Sack
American flag
Company.
heart, pretty much.
Yes, you do. Tell me another story about freedom.
Nice. You're going to wear that shirt soon.
I am. So I thought it would be good for me just to move out of the way and let you talk about the Founding Fathers.
Okay.
Who do you have?
Well, you asked me to pick one.
Yes.
I could have done the obvious, which is start with George Washington, since he was our first president. I opted not to do that, however. I opted to skip to number 4, our 4th president, James Madison. And the reason I decided to start with him is because he is also known as the father of the Constitution.
And he was married to Dolly Madison.
He was married to Dolly Madison.
Those little donuts
That's
are awesome.
true. Yeah. He's known as the father of the Constitution.
I am a snacking dude.
For drafting and promoting the Constitution and for crafting the Bill of Rights. So some people also refer to him as the father of the Bill of Rights. He collaborated with Alexander Hamilton and John Jay to produce the Federalist Papers, which is one of the most important treatises.
Is that like a Netflix original?
No, but it's a great book.
You have it.
I do have it. It's a little bit of a hard read because it's in Old English, and obviously they spoke a lot different back then.
You stinketh.
The punctuation and the capitalization that they used back then was a little bit different, and so it's run-on sentence upon run-on sentence, so it's a little bit difficult to read.
Yeah, they didn't believe in the comma or periods.
Right, it's like crazy. And random words capitalized, so it's a little difficult.
Like babushka.
No, there was no babushka. But my grandma used to wear, we always called them babushkas, the head wrap that she wore. Anywho, that's totally off topic. So he was one of the collaborators and authors of the Federalist Papers, which is one of the most important treatises on the support of the Constitution. Some people may not know that before becoming the 4th president, he was Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of State. So while he was president from 1809 to 1817, he was Secretary of State from 1801 to 1809. And do you know what he supervised?
What did he supervise?
The Louisiana Purchase.
Really?
Which doubled the size of our country at the time. So James Madison was born on March 16th, 1751, and he died on June 28th, 1836. So he was like 85 when he died.
That was an old man back
which
then.
Was super old back then. I mean, nobody lived to that age. So what I'm going to do, I've given you just a few little factoids about him, and I could go on and on and on because there's a lot of information. He was the president during the War of 1812 when the White House was actually destroyed, and so it had to be rebuilt. And back then it was yellow, not white. So
it was the Yellow House.
Kind of was. And his wife Dolly was responsible for saving...
those little donuts.
No. For saving a very important oil painting of George Washington that still hangs in the White House. So it's called the Lansdowne Portrait for anybody who would like to look it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to read through the Bill of Rights, which for those who don't know, the Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. There are only 27 amendments in total, and the first 10 were actually ratified on the same day. So after the Bill of Rights, there were only 17 additional amendments that have actually been ratified and become part of our Constitution. So it's really a big deal to have an amendment to the Constitution. It takes a lot to get it, and so it should be something very important. I'm not going to read the amendments verbatim. What I'm going to do is paraphrase what they all say, because again, Old English, and so it can be a little cumbersome. So I'm just going to, lay it out in what we would call modern English or layman's English. So the First Amendment,
in modern English,
which is also called our first freedom, starts with the free exercise of religion. Now, it's important to point out, it does not say religious liberty, okay? It's not just that you're free to think what you want in terms of religion. You are free to exercise your religious belief. That's a very important distinction. That also means that the government cannot tell you what to believe as far as religion is concerned, and they cannot make a government-run religion. Also in the First Amendment is the freedom of speech. Also, we have the freedom of the press, which is very important to us. The freedom to peaceably assemble. So you can get together and assemble and protest. You cannot riot. You have the right to petition your government for the redress of grievances. The Second Amendment, very important to us. The right to keep and bear arms, and the fact that it shall not be infringed. And we've seen all kinds of court cases because people's Second Amendment rights are infringed constantly. The Third Amendment, in peacetime, soldiers cannot be quartered in your house without your consent. In wartime, they can only be allowed in your home in a manner that is done lawfully. The Fourth Amendment, no unreasonable search and seizure of our bodies, our homes, our papers, our effects, and no warrants can be issued without probable cause, and then the warrant has to describe what exactly is being searched and why. The Fifth Amendment means that you do not have to testify against yourself. It also means you cannot be subjected to double jeopardy. If you are found not guilty of a crime, they cannot try you again for it. Your due process rights are guaranteed under the Fifth Amendment, and your private property cannot be taken without just compensation under the Fifth Amendment.
What about your private parts?
No, because that would be the Fourth Amendment, unlawful search and seizure.
Yeah, very good.
I had to get some iced coffee, sorry. The Sixth Amendment, right to a speedy and public trial, also an impartial jury, and you have the right to effective counsel. The Seventh Amendment, when a lawsuit is greater than $20, okay, this tells you, this was crafted in like 1789, so $20 was a big deal back then. When a lawsuit is greater than $20, you have the right to a trial by jury. The Eighth Amendment, they cannot impose excessive bail, excessive fines, and there cannot be cruel and unusual punishment. Now, some people say, well, the death penalty is cruel and unusual. No, it has been ruled by the Supreme Court not to be cruel and unusual. The Ninth Amendment, the rights that are listed in the Constitution are not to be used to deny or disparage other rights that are retained by the people of the United States. And then finally, the 10th Amendment, closing out the Bill of Rights. All powers that are not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by the states, are reserved to the states and the people respectively. So that's where we get the states' rights argument.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Well, that was a brief overview of the Bill of Rights and a founding father, and we will go through all the founding fathers.
There's more than 50, just so you know.
I know. That's fine.
Okay.
Because
it's like 56.
Because if you look at what the founding fathers were doing, it's not the America we see today. Mm-mm. I think if that America existed today, we truly would be a shining light on the hill.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be a different place.
Yeah,
it would be a completely different place. So when I call for revolution, this is what I want. I want to go back to this.
Right. And that's why the founding fathers
bequeathed to us. As Coach Pettengill would say, this.
That's why the founding fathers bequeathed to us the ballot box.
Yeah,
so that we can have peaceful revolutions by voting out the tyrants.
But when the riots break out, I'm going for GameStop and lids because I'm going to get some hats.
Okay.
It's my right to party.
All right.
All right, very good, Warrior Queen. Say goodbye, Warrior Queen.
Goodbye, Warrior Queen.